You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
What's happening, guys? Today we have Scott Porter on the show. He's a lifelong entrepreneur, executive consultant, brand experience strategist, and he's completely obsessed with tacos. Currently, you'll find him doing one of a few things: consulting, speaking, or podcasting on the power of brand experience to help you thrive, or he may be delivering deep-fried happiness to churro lovers everywhere, as he is the founder and owner-operator of the first gourmet churro business in Utah. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be here, Mike.
Absolutely. Tell us, our listeners, where you're calling in from, and also maybe something interesting about yourself.
Oh man, I am currently in the Salt Lake City area in Utah. It's not too cold out here right now, but it has been very cold recently. Interesting. I am on the search for the perfect taco. I think we originally had this scheduled for a Tuesday, so I was going to wish you happy Taco Tuesday.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But really, like we should be living every day like it's Taco Tuesday, don't you think?
Absolutely. If they were Taco Tuesday prices, I'd be stoked.
I know, right?
Yeah. But so you're in Salt. I'm actually heading there I'm heading to Park City here in a week.
Oh, cool.
But obviously, when this airs, it'll be a little later. But yeah, I'll be going out there to hang out with an attorney, my attorney, who's a friend of mine, and also has a cabin out there. And we're gonna do some snowboarding for probably up to 10 days, maybe more. So
that's really rough.
It's going to be rough, and my legs are going to be jello, but
yeah, that's true.
A lot of hot tub bananas and water.
Man, that's good. It is dumped on us in the mountains up here. So yeah,
I'm excited. I just got back from Tahoe, did the same thing, a lot of powder, but I do love Park City. I've been there about half a dozen times. Looking forward to going back to where you're at, Scott. So tell us about, so we're going to get our listeners a little bit excited and maybe hopefully possibly hungry here. Search for the perfect taco and San Diablo Artisan Churros, right?
Yeah.
What are those? Tell us a little bit about those companies. Awesome.
Well, they're both really interconnected. I have this crazy obsession for tacos. I was a missionary for the Mormon Church in Mexico for a couple of years back in the day, and then I've also lived in Mexico and other parts of the country. And really since then, I've been on this global search for the perfect taco. And, I have a taco Instagram account. I, just post about tacos. I was recently at the first National Taco Festival in Mexico City last December. It was amazing.
Tell me how many people were there. Was there a lot of people there?
Your calendar. Everyone has to go. Imagine 50 of the best taco places in all of the country in one spot. I was living my best life. It was.
If you guys are watching this right now, he's sweating just thinking about it. Like he's so excited. He's excited.
Oh
That's
my God,
awesome.
Man. It was incredible. And it was, I'm sorry, what did you ask? You asked,
how many people were actually there? And I also want to know who picks these top 50, but go ahead. How many people
Great question. So it's Coca-Cola put it on, and it spared no expense. It was we'll talk more about this, but I'm like crazy about brand experience and customer experience, and they knocked it out of the park. It was incredible. It's called Metate, which is that's the name that they put on the festival. And there were I think they figured between 10 to 15,000 people.
There was 10 to 15,000 people at a taco place. That's amazing.
Yeah. And everyone has to go. I'm not joking. We put it on we don't know the exact date, but they'll be doing it again this year. I'll send you an invite and you can share it with all the listeners. Everyone has to go. It's incredible. So, I've just and you asked who curated the list. Yeah. So it was Pedro Reyes, who's one of the producers of Taco Incidents on Netflix. If you've seen that drool-worthy series of where they dive deep into all things taco. He was incredible. And then Arturo Hernandez. He wrote this book right here, the Tacopedia. And
Tacopedia.
yeah. So anyway, and then Gabby, she's a food writer in Mexico City, and the three of them kind of curated and pulled together the best tacos in the whole country. So everyone from there was an incredible, probably the best fish taco I've ever had in my life from Ensenada. They were down in Mexico City. It was awesome. Yeah, you got to go.
Well, so have you created? Is this a passion project? Is it a business? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of all interconnected. So I'm obsessed with tacos because they're the best food in the world, but it's more than that for me. And I've led hundreds of people on taco tours to Mexico City because what the taco experience is about for me is really this amazing, immersive masterclass in really learning how to incorporate elements of human connection into your brand. And so as in my wild search for the perfect taco over the whole course of my adult life, in trainings I've given, I've used examples from the taco truck in East LA and these taco stands on the street in Mexico City that have been there for 20 plus years. What are the secrets of their success, and how can we learn something really transformative for our own businesses and brands, and maybe even our own lives, by this idea of human connection? And so I'm on and I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. So I lived in LA for about 10 years before I moved here to Utah. And one of my favorite trucks in LA is in East LA. I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know if you've,
absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So it's called El Pecas, and it's right where the 60 and the 10 and the 5 freeways meet. There's kind of pure car wash up on the top of that intersection, and they're there every night. And it's one of my favorite places. And this particular time that I went there, I hadn't been in 6 months, which is totally a travesty in and of itself because you got to go there as much as you can. So I hadn't been there in 6 months, and I walk up to the window to place my order, and Ernesto says to me, Scott, where you been for the past 6 months? Do you want your al pastor tacos the way you always like them, extra crispy meat with extra pineapple? And I'm like, I look around. For a minute, I thought I was being punked. I was like,
pretty
well,
impressive.
yeah, of course I want them like that. and he got them for me exactly that way. There is so much to unpack in that little micro interaction. That really showcases things that could truly be transformative for businesses. Imagine if all of our salespeople, if all of our team members, if all of us at every moment interacted like Ernesto did with me, what a difference we would make in the world. If we incorporate elements of human connection, he remembered my name, right? He remembered what I ordered. He offered it up, something that is maybe actually even a little bit more difficult for his team to do. Leave the meat on the grill longer, get the extra pineapple out, do extra things because he wants to create something special and memorable for me. And the best part about this is that Ernesto is not the boss. He's not the owner. And so that also tells you that the owner is recruiting people that have this same kind of mindset of, we want to create something special and meaningful for every one of our people in the second largest city in America. After 6 months, he remembered this about me. I mean, he's probably served thousands and thousands of other people. Incredible. And so I just feel like that is a message that needs to be shared. I have, as I've in the different throughout my eclectic career path, I've developed a system and a framework that has helped and it really has been the hallmark of our success in very different industries. I've seen this focus on brand and customer experience as a core competitive advantage have wild results. I ran a couple of nursing homes in Southern California. I ran a home health agency, started an airline called Surf Air, the first all-you-can-fly membership airline. We incorporated this same system and framework of focusing on the brand experience and creating something exceptional and special. And then you're actually, if you do that, if you create this, then you empower all of the people that come in contact with your brand to really be your evangelists and to have fierce loyalty for what you do. So anyway, so that's my goal. That's my mission. I'm using the search for the perfect taco to teach this and inspire business leaders to incorporate this as a core piece of not just like, that's like the customer service department, but as a core piece to people's lives and to their business strategy.
We're going to dive into our guests' experiences in business and life after this quick message. Life Nation, are you struggling with growing your business and hitting goals? Or are you over the 9-to-5 grind, finally ready to take the dive into entrepreneurship? What are you waiting for? Go to michaelivas.com to set up a free, no obligation coaching call today. That's MIKEOLIVAS.com. I can help you. It may be the best call you've ever made. What's the first thing that companies, you feel like companies are missing when it comes to the human connection factor that you mentioned?
I feel like most CEOs and most company leadership have really great intentions. And I feel like where most of the leaders are falling short in this area is that we're failing to recognize that we have moved away from a consumer-based economy where it's purely transactional, where like I give you money, you give me tacos, and we're done, right? Like that economy is over, and we are now headstrong in a relationship and experience-based economy. As consumers, we expect more from the people where we're spending our time and money and effort, and we expect more from those companies. We want their values to be aligned with ours. We want them to be making a difference in the world. We want them to care about us. We want them to listen to us. We want them to recognize that we are humans. Right? I mean, any of us that have been on the phone with a customer service rep that has a horrible experience, we're just like, oh my gosh, I just want them to say sorry. I just want them to empathize and be like, yeah, that policy really stinks. You know, I'm so sorry that we have that policy, but let me try and treat you like a human that cares. And so where I think well-intentioned business leaders have a huge opportunity is that because the bar is so low with the expectation that we have of customer and brand experience, we can incorporate and infuse elements of real human connection into everything we do as a business and stand out and make a tremendous difference and thrive in ways that we've never been able to thrive before. And so it's really an embracing of this like opportunity to connect with people in meaningful ways. You see companies, you see like big box retail, like some of them have gone away, right? There's empty stores all over America. Yep. But then you also see people that started out direct to consumer that are now going to physical experiences. And it's not even necessarily about the physical experience. It's more about the opportunity to connect with their customers. You see that with like Warby Parker and Casper Mattress and Cotopaxi, an outdoor gear company here in Utah that's doing amazing things. Like they started online and they're going to physical experiences because that allows them to get that feedback. It allows them to connect with people in meaningful ways, build this loyal following.
What's your feedback on it? This is something that is obviously out there a lot, whether it's blogs and Forbes and the tech magazines, but technology is pushing this to happen via AI. Mm-hmm. And personally, I don't mind saying that I'm not a fan of that by any means. Doesn't mean that it's not possible to maybe create the first connections out there, but the second and thirds, people know their bots, especially today.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Gen Zs and especially millennials. Well, and the people, let's just say, paying money for things. Bottom line, right? People that are the economy, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
as we grow, we don't know what's going to happen in, let's say, 20 years when AI might run a lot of the initial processes there. But what are your thoughts on that, on the AI and trying to create a personal connection through someone that doesn't have a beating heart?
Well, I think that the important thing with technology is that technology will never replace humans. There's no question in my mind, because ultimately we are still humans interacting there. Ultimately, if you back that AI up, keep backing it up, there's a human being on the other side of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to interview some AI.
Exactly. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
The reason why restaurants still work is because we're social people. It's interesting. I do believe that that AI and technology will create even like wildly things we probably can't even conceptualize right now, but wildly improved opportunities for us to create meaningful, real human connections with each other.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening. Like, I don't know, you're familiar with Brene Brown, I'm sure.
Yep.
And her work on vulnerability. And she tells this one story of going into a drive-through. And typically when she's in front of her own personal, goal is to never be on the phone when she's in front of like a customer service person or a teller or a server or cashier. So, but she got a phone call just as she was driving up to the drive-in window to pick up her food, and from her kids' elementary school. She was worried that it was something serious, and so she picked it up. She quickly ended the call, but by the time she had started this, she had already started the transaction of the food and the credit card, etc. So she hung up the phone. She turned to the person that was helping her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was on the phone." And the girl started to cry. Wow. And she said, "You are the first person that has acknowledged that I'm a human being.
Wow.
Thank you I might as well have been a robot here all day giving people food.
It's true.
You're the first person that's acknowledged that I'm real." And that's where we're at. And what as hyper connected as we are starving for real human connection.
Yeah.
We're starving for opportunities to really understand each other, and that's what we can do as business leaders, is that can help set us apart from everyone else. And so we can implement AI and all sorts of like tools and technology to better understand our customers, but ultimately all that will provide is a greater opportunity for us to connect on a real human level with them. And so that's where I see it going. I mean, it's not going to replace doctors. It's not, I mean, sure, yeah. There will be things that there will be, sure. Operations or elements or whatever that of different businesses that could be replaced by robots or AI, right, or different things. But ultimately, we still want to connect with people. We have the highest rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide, unfortunately, in the world right now. And that is, to me, that just shows that we all have a greater responsibility as in our areas of influence to find ways to make people feel special, make them feel heard, make them feel like we understand and we care about them. And that can be the person that's cleaning your air ducts in your home. It could be your plumber. It could be, the stranger that holds the door open for you as you're going into Nordstrom Rack, wherever it is, doesn't matter. We have an opportunity and really, I feel a responsibility as business leaders to take it to the next level. And there's business results that will actually happen. So it's not just like because it feels good and it makes us feel like we're making a difference in the world, which is awesome. but there's also like tangible business results.
Where can people find more of that? Where can people find you and more information on that?
I all of it's on my website. Search for theperfecttaco.com. I have you can find I have a taco finder on there, so a map of all the places I've been. Awesome. And plus various presentations I've given. I also have a podcast and a video series called Taco Incidents, where I interview and have conversations with CEOs about the brand experience that they've created over tacos, of course.
Nice. Taco Incidents.
So yeah, Taco Incidents. And then there's, and in those presentations and what we talk about in some of those moments too, are some of these business results. Like customers will spend 140% more when they have a positive customer experience. Like anyone plug your numbers in there. Who doesn't want their customers to spend that much more? I mean, so there's like some real tangible results when we do this, aside from really lifting levels of happiness and self-worth and importance. So
out of all, my final question for you is, out of all your successes and failures in your businesses, what is the one piece of parting advice that you'd give to entrepreneurs out there today listening?
I would just say to do just 1% more. Do one more thing to incorporate meaningful human connection as a business strategy into the core of your brand's DNA. And for everyone that may be a little bit different, but I think it can feel real daunting to be like, oh my gosh, how do I like fight that? How do I devour that whole elephant? But I just think do one thing, do one notch more, 1% more to incorporate human connection as a core part of your brand DNA.
Scott, thank you so much for your time today.
It's great to be with you. Thanks so much, Mike.
Absolutely.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Liebus, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.